So my four favorite artists are Edvard Munch, the Norwegian artist who made Scream. We have Rembrandt, a Dutch painter who painted portrait like nobody's business. Caravaggio, who painted he lived in 13, 1400, I don't know, something like that. But he painted so cinematic, huge, large paintings and he used his buddies, his drinking buddies, to pose for him. So there's a painting with Jesus in it, more of several paintings with Jesus in it, but there is drinking buddies. So Caravaggio and Francisco Goya, I've talked about him before, and fuck, I don't remember. Well, this is the Rembrandt thing I like, or I'm not as good as Rembrandt, but look at the texture. I love texture in painting. And I love film, and I love David Fincher. David Fincher made Social Network, The Underrated Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So I want to sort of combine Edvard Munch with Rembrandt, with Goya, with David Fincher from Social Network. You know, Social Network, that film, one of the best films in the last 50 years, maybe. And yeah, I have painted on this a long time. And look at that. That's like because it was a sunset, but I painted over it. She stood alone with the sunset in the background, and I thought, I want to paint this guy. And look at the eye. Look at his eye. It's a bit big, I think. But look, it's not as yellow as the other video. I'm using the light in the bathroom. But you can see that it's not so yellow anymore. But yeah, you can look at the texture. I love it. And you know, that's the inspiration. Okay, I'm recording this afterwards because the sound was so terrible. But this is how it looks. This is the composition. This is how it looks. And yeah, I'm sitting on the bathroom floor, so that's cool. This is me once again on the toilet because it's better lighting. But yeah, Edvard Munch, Norwegian artist, he painted Scream, his best known painting, but not his best, I think at least. He has a one called Puberty, which I love, a great painting, and he has another painting that's called Sick Child, and the painting is so thick and so crusty, and you can see that it's painted by a sort of insane man. Paint. I think it's because he painted 3 versions of Scream and over 100, etchings, not etchings. Fuck it, I don't know what you call it in English, but on back of one of the paintings of Scream, he wrote, "Only a madman can do this," which was true. But his thing was he painted a lot of men and women, and he struggled with love, he struggled with depression, he struggled with female connection. He struggled with that his whole life. And you can see that. There's a lot of fucking great paintings he did of couples, men and women. And there's a lot of brushstrokes. And when he got at one point sober, and the thing that artists die before their time, like they die and they get well known, that's a myth. That happened to Van Gogh, and Van Gogh is very romanticized. He's a great painter, but Van Gogh painted only 10 years and then he shot himself, allegedly. There's some that think that he was killed by some kids, but allegedly he shot himself. And yeah, I think the Van Gogh thing made it, the romanticized thing made everybody think like, oh, because Munch, he died when he was 80 or something. Picasso died as an old man. You have Caravaggio, well, he died younger. But Rembrandt, he died older. Francisco Goya, he died older. The greats, they died somewhat, relatively old. But yeah, so Munch, later in his life, as an old man, he got more, he was sober, and you might say that his painting became more shallow, or because he painted so expressive paintings before, but after that his paintings became more colorful. But I would argue that his brush strokes in those paintings are like, he still got it, man. He still got it. And the way he painted winter, the Norwegian winter, with few brush strokes, wonderful. Yeah, I think his painting are still psychological, even though he just paints landscape or snow and a starry night. So yeah, and Rembrandt, great portrait painter, he painted thick strokes, really thick strokes. And it's wonderful to see them up close. Rembrandt is fucking awesome. Francisco Goya, I talked about him. And yeah, we have the Norwegian artist Odd Nerdrum, which is a great artist in the sense, like technical sense, but I don't like his paintings. I think they're full of themselves and pretentious. And I think he is full of himself and pretentious. And the way he acts, and his kids, it feels like they will die defending him. In other words, it feels like a fucking cult. So I'm not a big fan of him as a person, or not, or necessarily his motives, his paintings. But I will admit that he is a great technician. His brushstrokes and lines and compositions are amazing. They're great, but anyway, that's my art video. I know nobody gives a fuck. I know, but that's fine. All right, bye.